Hi, everyone, and welcome to First Things First. It is a rainy Monday in New York. It does not matter. We are coming off a great weekend of football. I'm Jenna Wolf. That is Nick Wright. That is not Chris Carter. It is, however, Chris Canty.
Still got the CC thing going on.
Still
right?
got the CC thing. I only
CC
remember one name, which is good. CC got stuck in Miami after the game he called the Dolphins
game in NFL history.
7 hours that thing was delayed.
Literally the longest game in NFL history, but he'll be here later.
He's going to join us remotely.
Thank you for filling in, brother.
We got Chris Canty here to stick around.
Your hair looks particularly lovely today,
Thank
Jenna.
you so much.
You're very welcome.
As does yours. And yours.
Thank you,
Spreading
Jenna.
the love. All right, we are going to start with one of the most epic performances you will ever see in the National Football League. It was the Packers, it was the Bears, and it was because of one of the best to ever play the game. Early scare for Aaron Rodgers, though, as he had to be carted off the field in the second quarter with a leg injury. Came back with his team down 20. He's like, what? I got to do this? Well, he did. He lit it up, throwing 3 second-half touchdown passes, including the game winner to Randall Cobb with just over 2 minutes left in the game, all while still hobbled with that injured leg. Aaron Rodgers talking about his epic performance after the win over the Bears.
This is what we're paid to do. You know, we're paid to deal with injuries and play through them. That's what everybody's doing and will be doing throughout this season. That's the measure of a teammate, is what are you willing to put on the line for your team. And to me, it's a no-brainer. Being out there is special. The ovation from the crowd lifts you up, gives you the energy, the momentum of the game, and you feel the tide turning. Is special. This is definitely go down as one of my favorite memories. Playing behind Brett Favre for 3 years, you realize you gotta be tough to play this position. So you got a situation. It's about coming back out and leading, and if you can do it and deal with the pain, you should be out there.
So, guys, Aaron Rodgers comes out and says this is what we're paid to do. Aaron Rodgers, of course, just getting paid to do just this, and this is how he comes out and responds. But how remarkable was what he did last night in the situation, given that he was injured, and the situation during the game being down 20 points, was it?
Remarkable is a perfect word, because it was absolutely remarkable. It was not unbelievable.
Yeah.
It was totally believable because of who this guy is. We had a conversation a few months ago about whether or not we're in almost the golden era of sports goats or near goats. LeBron, Serena, Bolt, Phelps, Messi, Federer, Brady, Rodgers.
Yeah.
Like he is in that class. He's on that list of greatest to ever do something, doing it in his prime. And to see him out there hobbled. I thought they did a great job on the broadcast of showing the side-by-side of his dropbacks and how pre-injury his dropback looked like this, post-injury his dropback looked like that. And for him to make that throw is make-believe, Canny.
Yeah.
That throw is across your body on a bad foot, 50 yards, couldn't have handed it to Geronimo Allison better. And he and Brady are the only quarterbacks in my adult life that could be in this situation, down 17 late, and I'm like, well, if they score here, I actually like their chances. That's what he is. He's the best player in the league. He's been the best player in the league for quite some time now, and he showed it last night. While hobbled, it was spectacular.
Well, here's the thing, Nick, and you're absolutely right. It is spectacular, and there are only a handful of quarterbacks that can make that throw to Geronimo Allison, drop it in the bucket just like that. But, Jenna, you asked the question, how remarkable is it? They've been playing football 100 years. The Green Bay Packers, it's their 100th year in franchise history. They've never had a larger fourth-quarter comeback.
Yep.
Never. It hadn't happened. So that tells you the level that Aaron Rodgers is on. And I'm looking at that game last night, and I said, if you're going to invest this kind of money in this quarterback that's capable of leading this type of comeback, you would think that Mike McCarthy in the front office of the Green Bay Packers, after having your star quarterback come off a shoulder injury that ended his season a year before, you would do a better job of protecting them. Whether it's personnel, whether it's scheme, you would think that that would be a focal point going into this offseason. Now, it looked like the offensive line cleaned up some of the protection issues that they had. night in the first half, but I think that was coupled with the Chicago Bears taking their foot off the gas a little bit. There was a little bit of relax in that group. They weren't as aggressive in the second half, and I'm not for the life of me understanding why Vic Fangio didn't call more pressures, more blitzes, especially in the middle of the pocket.
He was mounting.
Aaron Rodgers was dealing with a left leg injury, and his mobility was clearly compromised. I don't understand why they didn't try to go after him a little more, but it seems like the Chicago Bears left the door open for Aaron Rodgers to start that comeback.
Up to and including on the 3rd and 10 that Randall Cobb ends up taking 70+ for a touchdown. Khalil Mack is in coverage. Like, really? That's not what you paid him $131 million for. What you paid him $131 million for was what he was doing throughout the first half. Go get the quarterback. But one of the reasons you said the protection issues got cleaned up, I don't know if that was better offensive line play or if that was in the second half. Rodgers took the game out of McCarthy and the staff's hands. They went more no huddle. It was more Aaron Rodgers getting the line of scrimmage. What does he see? And getting the ball out quickly. He was magnificent in that situation once they started going hurry up. In the second half, he was 17 of 23 for 273 yards and 3 touchdowns. You're talking about needing to get him help. How about help at backup quarterback, which he hasn't had for the last few years? Rodgers asked them, essentially, can you guys hold the fort for 15 minutes? I'll be back. Can you keep it together for 15 minutes?
15 minutes.
In those 15 minutes, DeShone Kizer, who was the most turnover-prone player in the league last year, had 1 fumble where Khalil just took the ball from him. That took 3 points away from the Packers because that was a gimme field goal. And then at the end of the half, partly on Kizer, partly on the play call, it's 40 seconds left. You're on your own 25. The other team has no timeouts. You just run the ball, go to halftime, get Rodgers back, hopefully. They call a screen pass to Khalil Mack. That ain't great because he's on the other team. And now all of a sudden Rodgers has to have an epic comeback, which he, of course, ended up orchestrating.
You know, there were so many storylines coming into this game. It was the rivalry. It was Khalil Mack coming back. It was Aaron Rodgers back on the field. And then yet at the end, the story became what this guy did being injured. How concerned are you both with that leg and what you saw and how he had to sort of overcome it and deal with it? You saw it was obviously bothering him during the game.
Well, I'm concerned a little bit long term because what makes Aaron Rodgers special is just the ability to be able to use his legs to extend plays and give his receivers time to uncover downfield. Now, all the heroics that Aaron Rodgers showed in that second half, and particularly that fourth quarter, I say the Chicago Bears left the door open because on that last scoring drive, Kendall Fuller could have intercepted the pass and the game would have been over. It would have been curtains for the Green Bay Packers. So for all of the things that Aaron Rodgers did in the second half, I feel like this game was more about the Chicago Bears relaxing, knowing that they had a 17-point lead going into the fourth quarter in Lambeau Field, and you can't relax when you have a quarterback like
right, which
Aaron
against
Rodgers.
Anyone else, maybe it's okay, but Rodgers and Brady, those are the only two you really aren't going to relax.
Well, this is the one knock on Rodgers for a long time was lack of fourth quarter comebacks. Now, it was kind of misleading. One of the reasons was he wasn't trailing in the fourth quarter very often. Another reason was for a fourth quarter comeback, you need fourth quarter stops, and his team hadn't been great at getting those. But now in the last 4 years, there are 4 instances league-wide of 20-point second-half comebacks. 2 by Aaron Rodgers, 2 by everybody else in the league. So that what was a weakness of his theoretically has become a strength. But you mentioned the Fuller dropped pick. I can't believe the broadcast crew didn't spend more time on this. The Bears they were calling it a 3rd and 1. It was really a 3rd and 2. When a first down ends the game, you can take knees from there. Not only do they don't run it on 3rd down, and they don't even consider going for it on 4th down. You're up 3. They kick a field goal on 4th and 1. Instead, if you get the first down, the game's over. You kick the field goal, guess what? A touchdown still beats you. The moment you kick that field goal, you've got to know, man, the Packers became a favorite. Though if Rodgers got the ball back, they were going to be a favorite. And for the Bears staff to be so aggressive early, and then the entire second half, Trubisky turns into check down Charlie.
Check down Trubisky, no doubt.
Didn't it feel to you on the Bears side of things like the Jags-Pats playoff game? where for the scripted plays, those first 20 or so plays, the Jags were moving the football. Trubisky and the Bears offense looked awesome. Matt Nagy, first-year head coach, moving the football. But as soon as the script ran out, and you had to actually call a game, they were brutal. They had no movement of the football. If not for the Khalil Mack touchdown, this team would have stayed at 16 points for the game. I mean, their offense was absolutely inept after they got through the first quarter.
Yeah, what you're talking about is 62 passing yards by Mitchell Trubisky in the second half, which is unacceptable. You drafted the kid second overall a year ago to develop into a quarterback that was able to elevate the play of everybody around him, but also be able to win in situational football. And the Chicago Bears offense didn't do that in the second half. Now, what I don't understand is why Matt Nagy took his foot off the gas, play calling wise, why they weren't as aggressive in the second half as you were in the first half. Because you got to know, when Aaron Rodgers steps back on that field, they're going to put some points on the board. And you're not going to hold the Green Bay Packers to just a field goal for the entire game. So you have to understand you still have to be aggressive and score points. But when that complexion of the game started to tilt after the Geronimo Allison touchdown pass, it just felt like momentum was with Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers, and there was nothing the Bears could do to stop that.
But despite all that, their one sustained drive of the second half was at the end. You have Jordan Howard gash him for 10 yards on 2nd and 12. You have 3rd and a yard and a half. You have 2 chances to get 2 yards to win the game, and they throw it. They get aggressive one time in the second half. They throw a pass to Tariq Cohen instead of running Howard, and then they kick a field goal, and not surprisingly, the best player in the world goes down and beats you.
I don't understand it. Vic Fangio, you got to sweep the leg. Tell your defense to sweep the leg. No mercy. You got Aaron Rodgers compromised. You can't let the Packers off the hook.
All right, it's the reason why this is a very storied rivalry. It was the Packers over the Bears. Much more to discuss with that game. Coming up on the other side, though, why did the Dallas Cowboys offense struggle in Week 1? Next on First Things First.